all about change. Change for the worse. If you're a fan of superhero movies, you know there's something really good about good men or even bad men turning into vile, evil creatures. Because after all, what would our superheroes do if they didn't have super bad villains to keep them company? You'll find both God and man, alien and human, brain and brawn, psychopath and misguided fool. And given the subject, there are bound to be spoilers. So without further ado, let's begin. Starting off the list, we have Flint Marko's transformation into Sandman in 2007's Spider-Man 3. Having broken out of jail with the police in hot pursuit, Marko stumbles onto a nuclear testing site. There, he's trapped in an experiment and exposed to a large amount of radiation, which turns him into a creature made of sand, one with the ability to control sand at will. And thus, Sandman is born, one of the most conflicted characters in comic book history. In many ways, Marvel's Sandman is a close clone of the Sandman of children's folklore. The traditional Sandman is a creature who sprinkles magical dust into the eyes of sleeping children to give them sweet dreams. But in some stories, it's also associated with nightmares. Thus, Sandman is a creature both cherished and feared. The same can be said of Marvel's Sandman, who despite his obvious misdeeds and villainy is also a victim of circumstance in many ways. It's the reason why Peter Parker forgives him. Our next entry is Sabah Nur's return as Apocalypse in X-Men Apocalypse. Sabah Nur is an ancient Egyptian god. More importantly, he's the world's first mutant and the creator of the mutant race. According to the writers at Marvel, his name means the first one. As a mutant god, Sabah Nur is known to have been powerful enough to create civilizations and then destroy them to make way for a new one. He's also known to regenerate by taking on a new host, becoming more powerful with each awakening. In the 2016 film, Sabah Nur is in the process of transferring his consciousness into a new host when suddenly his people turn on him and try to kill him. Trapped in a pyramid and protected by his 4 horsemen, the ancient god survives the rebellion and completes the transference process, but is trapped under the rubble. Thousands of years later, he awakens from his desert tomb, hell-bent on bringing about, well, apocalypse I suppose, and giving a fledgling X-Men team the fright of their lives. Out.
We have a containment breach!
And number 6 is the brilliant scientist Otto Octavius, who turns into the evil Dr. Octopus. Doc Ock's descent into the supervillainy is born of tragedy. In an experiment gone wrong, he not only loses his wife, but his mechanical arms get fused to his body and their artificial intelligence takes control of his mind. Alfred Molina, who plays Dr. Octopus, skillfully portrays his character's deep struggle between his formerly good self and the evil gradually overriding him. It's as if he has the angel on one side trying to keep him sane, and the devil on the other tempting him to give in to his vanity and ego. Naturally, of course, the devil wins. But unlike most other supervillains, it's hard not to feel some compassion for Doc Ock. True, he does some terrible things, but he's also come across as a misguided soul, destroyed by tragedy and driven to insanity by ambition. He's the perfect antagonist for Spider-Man and a reminder to the reluctant superhero that with great power comes great responsibility. Action icons too. It's more gods in the mix. At number 4 we have Ares, the god of war. This son of Zeus hates mankind with a vengeance and is dead set on corrupting them with war and violence. To stop him, Zeus creates the all-woman Amazon warrior race and their strongest weapon, Diana Prince, aka Wonder Woman. Using his last powers, Zeus defeats Ares, but Ares is far from dead. He bides his time and many years later is back in business, this time posing as a human, the mild-mannered British politician Sir Patrick Morgan, and orchestrating his greatest masterpiece, World War I. In the 27 movie, the moment Morgan tells Diana that he's Ares is perhaps one of the most low-key reveals in movies, yet the reveal within the reveal is a nice touch. In outing himself, Ares also reveals to Diana that the famed God Killer, which is to be the weapon of his destruction, is not her trusted sword, but she herself. In the third spot is Norman Osborn's transformation into the Green Goblin in 2002 Spider-Man. If there's anything director Sam Raimi deserves credit for, it should be for his casting choices in the Spider-Man trilogy, especially when it comes to the villains. Before Alfred Molina's brilliant turn as Dr. Octopus in Spider-Man 2, there was the excellent William Dafoe in the first Spidey film. With his bulging eyes, wide and wicked grin, and overall wackiness, Dafoe is the spitting image of a mischief-making goblin. He's especially effective in that scene where Osborn wakes up after having injected himself with a faulty super soldier formula and is immediately transformed into the Green Goblin, attacking and killing the first person he lays eyes on. There are no subtle changes here. After that scene though, the Goblin ultimately gets masked for the remainder of the film. Even then, Dafoe's nasally voice, his wicked cackles and body language make the Green Goblin one of the most campily fun supervillains to watch on the big screen. Coming into the runner-up spot is an Abomination. That's not just our supervillain candidate's name, but also an appropriate description for his transformation. The film is 2008's The Incredible Hulk. Since this is a Hulk movie, dramatic and out-of-control physical changes are a given, but even by these standards, Emil Blonsky's change into the Abomination is eye-popping. A special ops commando, Blonsky lives to fight, giving up promotions in favor of action on the ground. His fighting skills made him the first choice for any mission that has to do with capturing the on-the-run Bruce Banner. But this slowly turns Blonsky into a power junkie. His obsession with gaining strength even at great risk to his life and with matching the Hulk in power leads him to experiment with the super soldier serum. After 2 doses of it, he's stronger than most men, but it's not nearly enough. So he injects himself with the Hulk's gamma ray infused blood, turning him into the unstoppable Abomination, a Hulk-sized mass of pure destructive power and little else. And at number 1, we have the supervillain with the most recognized helmet in movie and comic book history. No points for guessing. It's Darth Vader. Before he became the evil one, he was the Chosen One, a promising Jedi warrior and hero by the name of Anakin Skywalker. Under the influence of the Sith Lord Darth Sidious, Anakin eventually crosses over to the dark side, helping his new master annihilate the Jedi Order. But it's after a particularly brutal battle with his former master and friend Obi-Wan Kenobi that Anakin fully succumbs to the Dark Force. Having failed to talk sense into his former student, Obi-Wan leaves Anakin close to death near a lava river. Anakin's rescued by Darth Sidious, who gives him his now famous black armor, as well as a pair of mechanical lungs to keep him alive. Already seething with hatred, Anakin's overwhelmed by anger when Darth Sidious tells him that he killed his own wife in a fit of rage. This is the moment that Anakin truly becomes Darth Vader. And that rounds up today's video on the top 10. If you did, press the like button. Also, subscribe to my channel for more top 10s and movie content. Leave a comment about the video if you'd like. Feedback is always appreciated. I'll see you again with another top 10 on the TV Regent.